And hello, welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. Zack and Alex are back with you today to talk about NASCAR's weekend at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. We are going to talk about the IndyCar $1 million challenge at the Thermal Club, which I know Alex is he's so excited to talk about that.
I'm pumped.
I am pumped. He had such a good time not watching that race.
I did not watch it. Yeah, I'm pumped to talk about it though. I loved it. Yeah, it was great.
Oh God, I'm kind of scared actually to hear Alex talk about it. I'm a little scared. We have some tea today, some weird stuff going on in Formula One. Maybe not weirder than what IndyCar was doing this weekend, but Williams, yeah, they did something stupid. Hendrick Motorsports trolled us, and one of their drivers trolled us. One of their drivers trolled us too because he doesn't want the sport to grow. I feel like this episode's going to get a bit negative. I don't know. Ugh.
We're angry.
We're angry. We're like the gays in that one video of the gays in the car. Speaking of being gay,
no one's gonna know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess not. Oh wait, that sounds bad. That I said. They were fighting. And one of them was named Alex, and he was like, "Alex, square up." And I send that to Alex all the time. Cause I'm like, Alex.
You do.
God, but
I have the whole video memorized. I see it so much.
Speaking of being gay, you might be like, why do these guys talk about racing? They're interrupting my good racing podcast with talks of them being gay. That's so gross. Why do you have it in your podcast title?
How dare we?
And we haven't talked about it in a while, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. So, first of all, last week's episode is our new most listened to episode ever. When you combine YouTube and audio stuff. Thank you so much for the support on that. That's crazy. Thank you. But it did bring in some haters or some people who are confused on why we talk about being gay and why we have gay in the name of the podcast. And I just kind of wanted to have a general comment on that. And representation is very, very important. And there are no other, to my knowledge, Zach, other platforms really for LGBTQ plus people to talk about racing, let alone sports in general. And like if there are very few, right? And we have had, as we've done this podcast over the years, had quite a lot of people reach out to be like, thank you so much for doing this podcast.
I didn't know gay people watched racing. That's what they say, literally.
Yeah, that's usually always in these messages. I didn't know other gay people watched racing.
And guess what? When we were 15, that's what we thought. When we were even maybe 18, that's what we thought.
Like, Zack was one of the first people I ever became friends with who was also gay and watched racing. We really bonded over it. So it's important, and I understand a lot of people who aren't LGBTQ plus will not understand that, or you might even get frustrated about it. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry actually. But like, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because it's a culture thing too. Like, there's this shared.
You don't
experience
understand. And if you don't understand why we make but I'm gay jokes, it's like, we're not for you, and that's okay. You can find other podcasts. There are so many racing podcasts out there. We're not forcing you to watch this. We're not pushing our gay on you. Like, we're not doing that. You can watch, you can listen. You don't have to. I don't care. We don't care. But we just wanted to say, like, what we're doing, we think is a lot of fun for one, but it's also making a difference for a lot of people, because people feel less alone in being like a LGBT plus racing fan.
Yeah. Literally. Couldn't have said it better myself.
So,
I mean,
hopefully that makes sense if you left a mean comment last week or a confused comment last week. But if not, it's okay.
You can go listen to other gay people talk, like, Denny Hamlin. You can listen to him talk about Go listen to him.
Oh my
you
gosh.
see his dude. I was that Fox interview yesterday where he had like the holy jeans with like half of it's like patched up with a different color. I'm like, girl, what? Girl, you look like one of the college kids I used to go to school with. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what? It's funny too, because our comment last week, where we're like, we don't know about tires, we're gay. We literally had a queer tire specialist on the show last year.
We literally had someone
like, we're joking.
who is non-binary on the show who is a tire specialist.
Yep, in ARCA. So shout out Nix.
Yeah, Nix Herrenberg. Check out that episode.
Gosh.
Like it, gay people are in racing.
Yes.
Gay people watch racing.
And
everyone LGBTQ plus are welcome to racing. And if you don't like that, then we're not the podcast.
And we didn't know of a lot of people that were like that until we opened up this platform. Not saying that we did all of the work, like, stuff like Fox Sports with their segment on JR Houston, that, that was their thing. We had nothing to do with that, but still. But anyways, moving on from that, we talked about the gay. Now let's talk about the racing. This is what we do. So NASCAR was at the Circuit of the Americas, one of my favorite additions to the schedule in the past few years.
Me too.
I wanted them there for so long. I mean, it's the only time where NASCAR goes to an F1 track. I just think it's cool. It's the biggest track we go to, I believe. It's the longest since we don't go to Road America anymore. It's a cool track. I mean, it tests every kind of road course skill that you could have. It's got the S's, it's got hairpins, it's got slow sections. It's got everything. And we had a race yesterday in the Cup Series. We had the Xfinity race, which we'll talk about in a minute. But first, William Byron just kind of, I wouldn't even say he stinks up the show, because he had to earn that one yesterday. He got he not only won the race and led the most laps, but he got a good number of stage points too, because he was so fast. He was able to flip the stages, pit before the stage end, and still be far ahead enough to get some stage points, which was really impressive, like with a whole pit stop. So, and he had to battle some guys. He did not have track position the whole race. Notably battles with Ross Chastain, who won COTA 2 years ago. Ty Gibbs, who was looking to be one of the favorites. He had this whole run back up to the lead in the last stint, and it was pretty cool. And this win, Alex, felt a little bit different than some of William Byron's other wins.
Yeah, Zach. I mean, one of our listeners, Julian Spivey, has criticized us actually for being too harsh on William Byron, because we were being like, oh, he's never actually properly won a race. The wins just kind of fall into his lap. But Julian, if you're listening, we're going to give him credit, because he had to earn this. He really, really did, because that battle with Chastain and Gibbs was a lot of fun to watch. He had to earn it. He had to get around them. And then he had to make up the huge gap and make the proper pit stop, have it not cut the S's and everything like that, in order for Bell to not catch him at the end of the race. Like, he really did earn it. This is, in my opinion, William Byron's best win of his Cup career.
Yeah.
I think by far, actually.
He had to...
It's really good.
He didn't get to just... And, I know this is a part of racing. That's why I don't like taking away from Byron's wins last year, but he didn't need something to happen for him to inherit the lead.
Yeah.
Or he didn't need overtime.
It was all him.
He was not going to be denied yesterday. That was just, he was the guy to beat. And that's impressive, right? Because he was still able to win 6 races last year. Even, I mean, you can say it's luck, but he was in position for those 6 races. Right. And certainly, it's kind of unfair to say he fell into all of them. I don't really agree with that. We were kind of exaggerating. But I mean, yesterday, I'm very impressed with William Byron. I'm very impressed, and especially because he's actually kind of really good on road courses. This is his third straight, I think, top 2 finish at road courses. He's actually becoming a really good road course racer. And this is kind of a place where we're going to have to really watch him now. And yesterday, everyone into the weekend's talking about, the Toyotas, Reddick, Gibbs, SVG even, Allmendinger, whoever else they're talking about, maybe Chastain, right? But William Byron kind of flew under the radar, and he just dominated. So good for him. And that ugly Raptor car.
And this was his 3rd year in a row that William Byron is the first driver to have multiple wins.
You're right. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, in the next gen era, which he still has now the most wins in the next gen era. And that's so interesting to me, because it doesn't feel like it, but it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because, Larson had a year where he didn't really win that many races. Like, he only won 3. Chase Elliott went winless last year. It makes sense. It checks out when you do all the math, obviously.
Yeah.
Denny's given up a lot of
Yeah.
wins. So, yeah, it checks out.
And someone else, we mentioned him, Christopher Bell. He got really close at the end. Not quite close enough. We're going to talk about Bell again in a second, but I want to mention,
Yeah.
should Ty Gibbs, who was in second, should Ty have let Bell go
Yeah,
sooner?
that last run.
What do we think about that?
Well, I texted you or I said on Twitter that Ty Gibbs needs to let Bell go here if he wants any shot to win this race. And, of course, he didn't do that because he's stupid. I'm just kidding.
And
but
I texted you back that we're talking about Ty Gibbs. He ain't going to let up an inch.
And
you said he's matured. I think that's what you responded to me. And I'm like, yeah, but it's Ty Gibbs. He's going to still win the finish
people
second.
that say, like, oh, that's dumb. This is NASCAR. There are no team orders. It's not even about team orders. If you're Ty Gibbs trying to win that race, you are not catching William Byron. You're just not. I mean, it wasn't happening. You're going to let the faster guy behind you go and catch them because, as everyone knows in racing, when two guys are battling, because Christopher Bell was not going to pass William Byron easily. There was no way that was going to happen. It was going to be a battle. As two guys battle, their lap times slow down. And as you saw in yesterday's race, while it might have been a little bit different, in the Xfinity race, the third place guy can just drive right up on to the two battling for the lead and pass them. Or at least get in the mix. Give yourself a shot, right? So, I mean, hey, that could have at least maybe not given Ty Gibbs the win, but it could have given him a chance to get second at least, or maybe the win. You don't know. So I'm very disappointed.
At least
Gibbs did not let Bell.
At least his team would have won.
And that too.
His team could have won.
And I like someone on Twitter, I forgot who it was, where it's like, sure, he didn't have to, but the roles are going to be reversed one day. And maybe Christopher's not going to let Ty by if the rules are reversed.
Right.
So that just frustrates me because I expect better from Ty Gibbs at this point. The maturity for that isn't there. I mean, I get it. You want that extra point. You want that extra position. Dude, you're second in points already. I get it. You want that extra point. You want to keep second, but you didn't anyways. Hindsight's 2020, sure, but I don't know.
And another angle here, I don't know how much you would agree with this, but with how much track limit rules were a factor, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. If, let's say, Byron gets caught with a penalty for cutting the track and he lets Bell go, then he just gave Bell the win. So maybe that was on his mind as well.
Yeah. But that didn't happen.
But again, I don't think that's necessarily what was going on. Yeah,
that
exactly.
Didn't happen.
That didn't happen
Also,
either.
like, the chance of that happening, so slim. That's like such a unique
Byron,
situation that is like
Byron
betting on
wasn't
that's
gonna
dumb.
risk it either.
Yeah. Because, like, why bet on that when you can bet on Bell catching Byron, which was definitely going to happen. Probably would have happened if he didn't have to fight Gibbs. So that's just something that, and again, not only does it frustrate me that Gibbs wasn't thinking like that, it frustrates me that people are here on social media, saying that that's a dumb idea. Team orders. You mean they're trying to win by letting the guy pass to go battle the leader?
Aww. And staying on topic of Christopher Bell, he had a visitor after the race, and that was Kyle Busch, who was very mad. But Zack, we looked at the replay, and I'm not sure if
I don't know why he's mad.
Bell is actually at fault.
He's not. Kyle Busch is taking a late apex, so that means he's taking a very wide entry because he's battling Reddick, I think, or somebody. I don't care.
I forget.
He's battling, like, Busch is battling somebody, so he takes a late apex. But when you take a late apex, you are leaving it open for someone to come inside of you. And Bell, I wouldn't even say Bell really came from that far back. I mean, he didn't really drive through the 8. The 8 came down on him. I mean, it's turn 1 at COTA, so it's
and also
it's literally a point. It's a triangle.
He left a gap open for Bell to go down lower too. It's not like he just like pile drived him into turn 1. Like I don't see anything wrong here. Like
Busch wrecked himself. I'm sorry.
Kyle can be mad. He's having a rough start to the season.
Yeah.
He's kind of just been struggling, and you've called him washed on here before, but I just don't think this is on Bell.
It's
But I will
not.
say, Zach,
Mm-hmm.
Bell's reaction was hilarious because it looked like he was trying to dap Kyle up with like a little handshake, like, "Hey, man, thanks for the what's up?"
I made
And
him mad. I made Daddy mad.
but then Kyle was like yelling at him, and Christopher looked like he was going to
Why are
start
you yelling at
crying.
my
It was so
goat?
funny.
I hate Kyle Busch. I'm back at my Kyle Busch hating days because like you wrecked yourself and you're mad at him for it. I'm sorry. Sure, whatever. Maybe Christopher shouldn't have taken the gap. Why'd you leave the gap? Number one, because you're not just racing that one other guy on the track. Christopher Bell has just enough right to race you. Christopher did not just send it in there. Even if you think he did, he didn't. And it wasn't that late in the race either. Like there's still plenty of racing to go. You had plenty of room, Kyle. Like I don't know. To me it's a racing incident. Like I don't really want to sit here and say it was Kyle's fault because I understand how that happened. But he had plenty of room. Everyone had plenty of room. Kyle did not need to put himself right there. I don't know. It's just dumb.
Right.
I don't think he needs to be going to yelling at Christopher. But apparently he wrecked him at COTA last year. Christopher did. I don't remember, and I don't care. It's just before we move on from Kyle Busch, though, this is like the sixth straight race where he's had an issue. Every single race this year, he's had some kind of issue. He finished top 10 finally, right? Finally. Like he finally has a good finish to show for whatever speed he has, but come on, you gotta do better.
Yeah. So now let's answer the question, was this race actually good? Jeff Gluck's was it a good race poll last I checked was pretty much right at 50-50.
That's where
Which I feel
would
like is a
kind of put it. Ish.
yeah,
Like
I was gonna say it's about where I would put it. But
I was very compelled.
I enjoyed this race.
I enjoyed it a lot.
It was better than Phoenix.
I thought it was better than Phoenix because I wasn't really sure who was going to win till the end. Phoenix couldn't say that. There was actual battles kind of going on at the end.
Like we've just kind of been spoiled with how good this season has been. That it's just like a lot of people on social media are just kind of like, oh my gosh, we didn't have like a 3-wide battle for the finish. It's like, you're not gonna have that every week.
I'm sick of that too. Like,
but like
it's not all about being side by side. Like, especially
that battle with the battle with Chastain, Gibbs, and Byron. That was obviously like the one big highlight of the race.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. NASCAR not throwing a bunch of yellows because stage cautions were back, which is kind of a bummer. But NASCAR not throwing all the yellows, letting things kind of play out. I enjoyed that as well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really have anything to complain about with this race. And the only thing that I think could make it better would be a better broadcast. And I don't want to go too deep into the whole Fox Sports thing.
But that is a big part of it. Because
and I believe that is a huge part of it.
The thing about COTA yesterday is that race was much about when everyone was pitting. So there was two main strategies going on. Bell was on kind of the alternate strategy. And there was times where, there was not a battle going on up front. There were gaps. And it was kind of all about Bell closing in the gaps, right? Or even maybe Gibbs when he was closing in the gaps. One, there needs to be a visual indicator, especially for that kind of long-term gap closing racing, like F1 style. There needs to be a visual indicator on how fast is this guy actually closing the gap. Because if you're not paying attention to the ticker, then you're not going to know. And second, when there is not a battle happening at the front, and conversely, you're not talking about the gaps and how they're shrinking, then you need to find another battle somewhere in the pack and show that. Create a story out of it. Maybe it's Kyle Busch battling somebody. Like, man, Kyle Busch, he really needs this good finish today. And he's fighting for every point right now. Or Joey Logano's had a rough start to the season. Here he is in this battle. It's not that hard. You have 40 different drivers in this race. Like, come on. They didn't do that. They were just watching Ty Gibbs or Byron make laps by themselves, basically doing time trials. And it's just like, what are we getting from this? So I can't really blame people for thinking that race sucked because we're not being shown the good parts. Even though the good parts that we were shown were still very compelling to me. as someone that enjoys a nice, good strategy race. Of course, our fantasy battle also kind of made that intense for us, so we might be a little bit biased because Alex picked
We were
Chastain.
1-2 for a minute.
Alex picked Chastain. I picked Gibbs. I thought the pit cycle was kind of interesting. Another interesting story was Alex Bowman up there, who, he finished fourth, I think, which good finish for him. He's actually kind of having a bit of a redemption season right now after, being injured last year and being kind of slow afterwards. Two fourth place finishes in the last 2 weeks for Bowman. I mean, that's a good story that I don't know if it got talked about enough. There's a lot that's just racing. That's just racing. And I said it at the end of the Daytona 500. Sometimes you're not going to get that storybook finish because this is not a storybook. This is sport. And the integrity of NASCAR as a sport it's important. It's something that just has to be there. And we can't just have NASCAR throwing the caution with 2 laps to go to get a restart because, this is too boring. It's too boring. No. That it's fine that William Byron won that race. It is. I promise. It was still interesting, right? Because we just had a whole conversation about, man, Bell could have caught him. And you know what else would have made that race better, Alex?
What's that?
Well, if you look at the tire wear from last week, tire wear would have made that race nice. I mean, yes, there still was some, because obviously Bell was catching Byron with fresher tires. But when you have racing that's very focused on the long runs, you need more tire wear than that. Not only does it make these next-gen cars not actual slot cars on this road course, which they are. These cars are way too easy to drive on road courses. It makes the pace actually change over the run, where, now it's like, yeah, William Byron has clean air and he has a fast car, but man, he could really burn his tires off if he's not careful. He has to be really careful, right? To the point where it's kind of like Bristol, where if Byron's saving his tires, he's probably going to have to give up the lead to somebody else for a little bit, right? Make it interesting. I mean, again, that's what NASCAR needs to fix. Literally, we saw Bristol. We don't need to talk about it again. Tire wear makes racing good. I will shut up now. I just talked so long. I'm sorry, Alex.
So you had 2 other things in here you wanted to mention. We'll kind of go through those really quick. Back to Fox Sports, you said Kevin Harvick.
Oh my God.
You did not like his word of the week.
What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? The gays were counting on you, Kevin. You could have said, it's giving William Byron today. Or
I would have loved that.
Or William Byron really ate that one up. Right?
Ooh.
Ross Chastain, more like Ross Slay. I don't know, right? Whatever. But no. Someone who even wrecked, wasn't it Ryan Preece or something? I don't even know.
I think it was Preece.
Or was it Kamui Kobayashi? I don't remember. Somebody spun in the S's or something. And he's like, well, that's a kerfuffle. You know what it's giving, Kevin? Nothing. Flop of the week to Kevin Harvick. Oh, you're out of the car? No, you're not safe from flops of the week. That was very disappointing. And I know we said we weren't going to talk about being gay anymore, because we're not allowed to talk about being gay. Sorry. But that really upset
the racing podcast.
That really upset the gay community. We were really counting on you to represent us. So
wow.
That's just
crazy.
I'm just so disappointed. I've actually never been more disappointed.
Another man you're disappointed in is Denny Hamlin.
Just kidding.
As on Actions Detrimental today.
What the hell, Denny?
Detrimental today. Denny Hamlin says road courses were never good. The only reason fans liked them was because they had late restarts that were exciting. Zach,
you are dumb, Denny.
Quick thoughts.
He's just salty that he sucks at road courses. Number one.
Yeah.
He's the guy he hired is better than him. All of his teammates are better at road courses than him. Ooh. When was the last time Denny Hamlin won a road course race? Has he ever won a road course race? He's won Watkins Glen once, I think. He won it in 2016, I think. But
yeah,
it's been a while. But the thing is that's just kind of true, but you can say that for any race, right? Because he was kind of talking about how, like, at road courses, they get more spread out because obviously the track's bigger. But road courses, the racing podcast, I have been more disappointed. I've actually never been more disappointed. I just don't agree with that, because that race yesterday, Byron, Bell, and Gibbs are like within like a second and a half of each other. So I just don't understand. And they were, I mean, again, Bell was very close to starting a battle with Byron. I mean, I just don't really agree with that. It's just, road course racing was good because those cars, the Gen 6 cars, were really hard to drive, right? Is that what you were going to say?
That's what I was going to say. It's like, it's the car. Like, we just need a better car for road courses, and they'd be really good again.
Yes.
There's a reason NASCAR added so many of them. It wasn't just because, oh, we just want to add them. It's like, no, their product was really, really good.
Yeah. And
so
because
I don't know where Denny's coming from on that.
I don't either, because I think about like the 2018 Watkins Glen race, Chase Elliott's very first win. That was so intense because Martin Truex, that was a long run, by the way. That was not a late race restart like Denny's saying. That was Chase Elliott trying to defend from Martin Truex lap after lap after lap. Final lap, Chase makes a mistake and almost hands it away. Like, that is good racing, dude. I was on the edge of my seat. Everyone was, right? Even like the 2018 Roval was kind of a late race restart, but there was one I just looked up. I forgot what it was, but there was one that was like a really classic finish. And 2016 Sonoma with Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin. That was, again, not a late race restart. It was like 14 laps to go. Maybe it was late to you, but that just happens in races. I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know. I just was really disappointed in that comment. And think about the road courses that we go to now and the road courses that we added to the schedule. They were really big deals, right? The Indy road course, maybe, whatever. That's whatever. I didn't really agree with that in the first place, but Circuit of the Americas is one of the best road courses in the world, if you ask me. Especially in America.
At least in the country.
At least in the country. I mean, it tests every single skill that you need as a road course racer. It's a track that F1 goes to. It's an amazing facility. Seeing stock cars go around that track is so poetic. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool racetrack. So, and we've had so many classic finishes there already. So hop off COTA. The Chicago Street Course is a very important event, obviously. Yeah, Alex?
Very true. And another good race that happened at COTA was the Xfinity race, and I want to talk about that as well, because, oh my gosh, SVG, Austin Hill, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I know, Denny Hamlin, it was a late race finish, but you know what? It was still really good. And I want to talk about it because Austin Hill, he pushes SVG wide on that final restart, and it's just like, oh, Austin Hill, he's going to win again. But
all
SVG
this for
was
an Austin
right
Hill
there.
win.
SVG stayed with him, did not lose him, and he repays the favor on the last lap to Austin Hill, pushes him out of the way, and here comes Kyle Larson, passes him both and gets the win.
That was cool. That was
on
cool.
Those tires.
That's racing, dude.
That was a lot of fun.
That's good. Oh, but road course racing sucks. Okay.
And by the way, I want to give Slay of the Week to Shane Van Gisbergen because I love that guy so much already. He's only been in NASCAR for a little bit, but he stood up for himself. He's new to NASCAR.
And he's kicks
already
ass.
Moving people out of the way.
He kicks ass, dude. Like, he's so good.
He's so good. And he said in his interview, like, I'm going to stand up for myself.
Period.
And he has a big smile on his face. Like, he's not even like he's mad. He's just like, well, if you're going to race me like that, I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to get right back at you.
He probably
like,
felt like the adrenaline from that. Like, oh, that felt good. I've never gotten to do that before. Like, this beast is being unleashed in him. Like, oh, it is cool.
And on the flip side of the coin, Austin Hill said SVG moving him out of the way was not a fair deal, and he's upset with Shane. And it's just like, do you not know how racing works? Oh, you got a crying towel, Zach? Is that what that is?
Austin Hill needs the crying towel. It's not fair that he pushed me out of the way. Why would he push me out of the way, Alex?
So mean. Aww.
He's just pushing me out of the way because I look like the kid from Monster House. It's so hard being Austin Hill. I win so many races by accident.
Oh no.
God, I'm so tired of Austin Hill. I'm so sick of him.
I was like, are we really going to have him win again? Kyle Larson winning, that was great.
My tweet where I said, I hope SVG sends him to Oklahoma. I was so mad on that restart. That tweet got like 500 likes. Like, Austin Hill is such a little wimp. That the whole RCR deal, that deal right there,
True.
I almost wish Larson wasn't there. I saw someone say Larson kind of ruined that finish, and I'm like, well,
Nah.
you know what really ruined the finish?
Austin Hill.
Well, track limits. It ruined SVG's
track
finish.
limit.
It ruined his literal
True.
finish. Because guess who did finish second? Austin Hill. Because SVG got penalized 30 seconds for
Crazy.
taking a turn. He took a turn on the final lap of the race that he was trying to win.
Yeah.
How dare you? How dare you go inside of the curb? How dare you? We've got to talk about these track limit rules.
Track limit rules need to change. They should not go back to the whole stop and go thing. I thought that was stupid as well.
That's at least better than...
You can't...
What?
It's better than this.
Well, the stop and go thing, they've only done that at the Roval in Watkins Glen, right? Like, they've never done that at COTA, I think
so.
Yeah, they've never done that at COTA, because apparently there's nowhere to do a stop and go on a 3.5 mile road course. It's just too small. It's just too small.
So, for me, 30 seconds is way too egregious. It should be like 5.
Yeah.
Do what F1 does.
Well, that's what F1 does.
Literally,
but
just copy and paste what F1 does and give them a couple warnings, and then it's a 5-second penalty after that. I think that'd be fine.
You get 3 warnings, and then you get penalized in F1. Like, that's how that works.
30 seconds is...
stupid. Like, what? Like, for barely cutting the S's, it's just the S's, because the S's are the only ones that have, like, there's no grass around it, so where, like, you can just shortcut it if you wanted to, which... have we used our brain? We couldn't come up with a better solution, because honestly, I'm embarrassed that NASCAR went into Sunday and didn't change the rule, because Saturday was ridiculous. Like, it's the Chase Elliott on Sunday made a mistake. He got loose, saved the car, and got penalized because he went off track at the S's.
Yeah.
Chase, next time, just wreck the car. Just wreck the car. Just wreck the car next time.
Very, very silly. So Zach, is that everything we got to say about COTA?
Another thing they could do about track limits, and I don't know why people are so upset about this, just put turtles in there. Like, put a natural deterrent. Like,
I think the problem is that NASCAR and SMI, they don't own COTA. SMI like leases the track out, so they can't physically do anything. The track itself would have to.
Well, no, that's BS. They can do something. No, they can put some turtles in there.
NASCAR cannot.
Yes,
NASCAR
they can.
Can't do it.
They can
put of the Americas would have to do it.
Ask them if they can put turtles. Oh my God, you're running a racing event. How is it that hard? Are they shy?
And then F1 will probably have
Do they have social anxiety? No, they can take the turtles out. That's what they do for Charlotte. They go zzz, zzz. There's this really cool thing called a drill. They can drill in the turtles, and then when they're done, take them out. Oh my God.
Crazy.
That's so crazy.
So, Zach, I'm getting a breaking news report right now.
Okay. Breaking news on the Gay Racing Podcast?
Thank you. I was just handed a letter.
Okay.
It says GRP. It's backwards on my screen. GRP, Gay Racing Podcast 2024 Flop of the Year nominee revealed inside.
What?
What?
Oh my God.
What?
Dude.
Just in.
Wait.
It's March.
It's March.
What do you mean there's a flop of the year nominee? It is way too early for
flop of the year. I mean, we haven't even gone to, like, I can't even think of a race right now. F1 barely just started their season. Are they getting flop of the year, F1?
What could be in here?
Oh my God.
Well, should I open it? I was just handed this.
I feel like you should. I don't know. I think we need to see it.
Let me see.
In March. This must be a mistake. I don't think this
something
is...
crazy must have
Maybe it's from last year. Maybe it's from last year and it got stuck in the mail.
All right. All right. It says here, Flop of the Year nominee.
Don't Steve Harvey this now.
All right. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. And the first nominee for 2024 Gay Racing Podcast Flop of the Year nominee is IndyCar's Thermal Club $1 million challenge.
What?
Congratulations, IndyCar, you're nominated in March.
Oh my God. This is the only award IndyCar is winning. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Wow.
Wow.
I'm so glad that I'm not
history.
the only one with bad handwriting. That's crazy. That's actually not bad handwriting. I'm joking.
No one has been nominated for Flop of the Year this early except maybe several-time winner Fox Sports.
Yeah.
So crazy day.
That's crazy.
Thermal. Yeah,
Not
IndyCar
F1,
at Thermal.
not Fox Sports, IndyCar's Thermal, IndyCar, rich people, all-star race, whatever it was. Free food,
So-
Townsend Bell likes it, whatever.
let's talk about this. IndyCar at Thermal, the $1 million
I'm
challenge.
scared. I need my
We-
blankie. I'm scared.
You need your blankie?
Are you going to
You're
get
scared?
angry?
Okay.
Are you going to get angry, Mr.
I'm a-
Alex?
I'm a bit angry.
Do you have some big feelings right now?
Yeah, I gotta let them out, Zach. I really gotta let my
Okay.
feelings.
Well,
So
what do the viewers
we asked
think?
you guys on Twitter, right, Zach?
Yeah.
What you guys thought of the race. Did it slay, flop, or was it mid? After 80 votes, 52% of you said it was a flop, 43% mid, and 5% of you said it slay. I'd like to talk to you 5%. I'm very curious. But anyway, IndyCar Thermal. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's just kind of break this down. It was promoted as a $1 million challenge. It's in the name, right?
Yeah. So it's like the
winner
All-Star
got
race.
$500,000.
Oh, that's not $1 million. I'm not. I'm pretty good at math. I'm pretty sure that's not $1 million.
You know what it is? It's half of $1 million.
Oh, the funny how that works out. Where's the other half going? Where is the other half going? To like some rich person?
The other half was originally going to go to a Thermal Club member. And like a member was gonna be like assigned to a specific driver or something,
Right. That makes
whatever winnings
sense.
they got, they would
Kind
get.
of.
They scrapped that.
Why?
And even I thought that part was stupid, but they
Right.
scrapped that anyway.
Thought that was the whole point.
So yeah. $1 million challenge. The whole purse was just over $1 million. The winner got 500,000. Okay. Cool.
Yikes.
So IndyCar, a lot of diehard defenders of IndyCar who I respect. A lot of them are on Twitter, and I respect and love them. But look, a lot of them are like, "Well, IndyCar tried something new. It's an all-star race. An all-star
It's
race.
technically not
That is
something
not a new concept.
It's even something that's dying. Now, I will say, and I'm just gonna get like my few kind of like positives out of the way, because I'm very conflicted on this event. Like I'm missing like people that love this, I don't necessarily get why they loved it, and people that hate it, I don't also necessarily get why they hated it. Like I feel more neutral on it. I like how at least it's not like the Texas All-Star race where NASCAR's just going to one of their most boring normal tracks and being like, woo, we're having an all-star race. You should care. Like, at least IndyCar was going somewhere very different, somewhere where it's like, you know, I didn't know there was this like private motorsports club for rich people to live at. I thought that was kind of entertaining. Like the idea of it, having a race there is kind of cool. It looked beautiful. It looked cool, kind of. It was just another desert road course, but I mean, the track itself, it looked like an F1 track that wasn't finished in construction. But I thought that at least the location of Thermal was cool and different. It'd be like if IndyCar went to Barber and was like, let's have an all-star race. Like that would have been almost worse.
But
Ish.
the thing is that this concept, as you said, Zach, is dying. The
Yes.
all-star race, people have asked for the all-star race to go away.
Yes.
And I've heard from other friends, it's like baseball has an all-star race, and none of the baseball fans like that either. Or all-star game, I should say. Football has like the Pro Bowl or
No one
something that's like
watches
the
that.
week before the Super Bowl,
No
and
one
no
watches
one
it.
watches it.
Yeah.
Like, so IndyCar's new idea was something that's been done for years and everyone hates. Cool.
That's not how you
And
innovate
who was
your
this
sport.
race for?
Yeah, who is
this race
That's
for?
the thing that's weird. It just feels so like, why are you? I don't know, because these are people with a lot of money, and I've seen people being like, well, IndyCar people should be rubbing shoulders with people with a lot of money Because we want money, right? I don't really see that. I don't know. I don't get it.
So Thermal Club is basically just a bunch of millionaires and billionaires who live in this gated community called Thermal. That's basically what it
Yeah.
is. Is it for them? Are you trying to get their money?
Like, get them into
Because
IndyCar?
Renus VK still did not have a sponsor during this race, so none of them wanted to pay up and get their name on a car.
True.
So clearly that's working well. And also, this is just basically the worst of what Formula One is. And Elizabeth Blackstock, our great friend, did an amazing article talking about
Yeah.
this. Highly recommend it. It's over on Jalopnik. It's just like they try to do everything that F1 does the worst and put it all into one race. It's all this glitz and glamour. We're hanging out with rich people, and it's so exclusive that originally it cost $2,000 to be able to attend this race, but then no one bought tickets, so they had to lower it to $500. And it's just, who are you trying to attract? What are you doing? And my main problem with this event is the fact that there are so many problems in IndyCar right now, and they need to be trying new things. And I agree with the diehard fans. It's like, cool, they're doing something new. This was the most stupid idea they possibly could have come up with. It is like dead last almost on the things they should have tried doing. Like if this was proposed in a meeting, it's like, okay, you just want to have a glorified test session and you want to make it a race to fill the gap on the schedule.
Bro,
Okay.
I just wanted another oval race. I just wanted another oval race. Like, what? Why did you give me this? I wanted another oval race. Like, what are we doing?
And that's the point, Zach, too. This was announced to fill the gap between Texas and Long Beach. And then we lost Texas. So now we have St. Pete, then we have Thermal, and then we still have a whole month until Long Beach. So the point of this race was gone way before this race even happened. It was meant to be a schedule filler. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
When they announced it, but it's stupid. It absolutely stupid. And I'm very curious what the TV numbers look like. I am very interested in that. But there was another tweet from Left of Pete on Twitter that said it's like Thermal invited IndyCar to host a birthday party event and be their entertainment.
That's because IndyCar they're a clown. They're like a birthday clown. They are clowns.
Yeah.
Apparently.
At this point, yeah. And another question that's asked about this, can IndyCar teams even afford an extra pointless race?
Right.
Because like it's a short schedule, sure, but these teams don't have a lot of money. A lot of them don't. They don't have the big sponsorship money that you get over in NASCAR. And Christian Lundgaard told Racer.com, like, hey, if they do this race next year, Ray Halderman Lanigan is not going to show up. Because it's like, what's the purpose? He said that they would just not show up to Thermal next year if they're doing this again next year. And Pietro Fittipaldi got disqualified for not having enough fuel, I guess, for the main event or something. And then Romain Grosjean, he crashed on lap 1 of the heat race thing. And he was like, well, who's going to pay for the damage? Because like only like the top 4 in the main event or top 5 in the main event got money. So basically, Grosjean's car got the same amount of money as someone who made the main event but finished like 7. It's just like, what's the point?
Did they get it?
Why?
That was probably a deficit. Them coming out there is probably a deficit then, I guess.
100%. Absolutely. No. So, and Grosjean also said that he didn't come to IndyCar to race in an event. Wow. And I think he was mostly talking about like the race and crashing, but whatever. Those quotes are from Nathan Brown of the Indy Star. It's also a really good article. Check that out. Also from that article, Connor Daly says, who, by the way, is essentially an IndyCar spokesperson now because his podcast is partnered with IndyCar. And he was basically hired to do a bunch of social media content for IndyCar this weekend.
Because he wasn't good enough to be a driver. Sorry.
He says, those who didn't watch Thermal, like me, I did not watch Thermal because I knew this months in advance would be stupid. He says, if you didn't watch Thermal because you didn't like the idea, you are not a true race fan. You're not race fans if you didn't watch Thermal. IndyCar already struggles with viewership. They struggle to hit 1 million people. It is. I don't understand why you would ever say this, right, Zach?
Because they do stop watching.
They do. I did not watch Thermal. I've watched every race. I've been besides like Laguna Seca, as I was at the NASCAR Kansas race the
Yeah.
past 2 years. I have watched every IndyCar race, or at least tried to, and it wasn't like conflicting with NASCAR or like an event I was
Yeah.
doing. I've tried to watch every race for the past like decade plus, and Thermal was the first one I was happily, willingly missing. And then you have Connor Daly, a spokesperson, a driver in IndyCar, who's saying, well, if you don't watch, you're just not a fan. That is such a turnoff. And it's just like, why would anyone want to watch a series where people who are a part of it are telling people, well, don't watch then if you
By
don't
the
like
way,
it? It's just like,
the first
whoa.
segment of the main event was basically everyone was just saving their tires. So that's the racing you missed, Alex. Colton Herta
What a
was going.
riveting.
Colton Herta was going
riveting
9
event.
seconds off the pace, saving his tires for the second segment. So you missed that. It was so exciting.
And I don't. And by the way, it's not just Thermal. I think this is just a boiling point where it's just like, what the hell is IndyCar doing?
Yeah, it's
Like,
like
I am
it's like throwing a pizza party when I don't know what the analogy is. It's like throwing a pizza party at work. At like for like when your employees are going through a bunch of like hard times and abuse and the workload is stupid and they're being underpaid and you throw them a pizza party. That's what it kind of feels like, I guess.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
A
totally pizza party. That's what we needed.
Exactly.
You get to wear jeans today.
Exactly what we needed.
You guys get to wear jeans today.
But for me, it's not just Thermal. Thermal's kind of just a boiling point. They advertised this as like a made-for-TV event, and apparently it was not good on TV. Lee Diffie was basically like begging people to stay tuned.
Begging people, like
it was going to get better.
He not only was he was reminding people of the rules. It seemed like every lap. Like, remember, teams are not going to get to change tires. So this is why teams are saving their tires right now, because in the next segment, this will be very, very exciting. That's basically what it was.
But IndyCar as a whole is in turmoil right now, honestly. And I've been on here just even a few weeks ago being like, well, it's not doomsday just yet. I think there's a bit of exaggeration that, like, the sky is not really falling in IndyCar yet. I think Thermal was just really just like, oh my God, like this is bad.
Like the fact that you saw IndyCar really go through with an event like that with horrible execution and financially, like seeing the fact that their prize, they promised a $1 million prize pool for the winner. So prize for the winner, but it got halved because they couldn't raise that much money. Whoa.
Yep.
Girl. Which, ugh.
And I didn't mention this, the $2,000 admission, the teams also had to pay that for each guest, and that also got halved. So the teams are spending so much money on an event that means nothing.
Yes.
And of course, that was ended up lowering later, but still. The IndyCar as a whole, the video game, canceled. Texas Motor Speedway, gone. You have rumors of Honda leaving. Like,
the fact
if
that
Honda leaves, you only have one manufacturer. There are talks of guaranteeing spots in the Indianapolis 500. They are struggling to get hybrids going. There is a potential that they could be leaving NBC, and it's like, who knows what their next TV contract's going to be? Fox is like the #1 contender they're talking to. And we just talked earlier about how Fox makes NASCAR races rough to watch. They are not in a good position right now. And I'm tired of trying to pretend that everything's okay in IndyCar. IndyCar is my favorite. If you've been a longtime listener or watcher, you know that IndyCar is my baby. I love it so much. I want it to succeed, but this is frustrating. And I'm going to say it, Roger Penske should sell the series. This is beyond ridiculous. He should be gone. I'm sick of it. Because this
I need to hold my Team Penske koala. I'm scared.
This race, they could have surprised everyone. I was not going to watch it regardless, but they could have proved people wrong and had it like they knew what they were doing. This race was Roger Penske's idea, or the Penske Entertainment's idea.
Yeah.
and they failed. This was the one idea that Penske Entertainment came up with to try something new for the NTT IndyCar series, and it failed. Penske Entertainment should be gone. I've had enough. Like, they are without a doubt a flop of the year nominee, as we got the card for earlier. But ridiculous, flop of the week. I'm done with Penske Entertainment run IndyCar.
That's crazy.
Because
I mean, you're right, because it's also
this event, it could have been good.
Well,
it really could have been if it was properly understood what it was and the series knew what they were doing. But they have no clue what they're doing. Obviously, like this event proves it. It's embarrassing. I don't know.
Reading the article by Elizabeth Blackstock, and she was kind of recapping the events, you know, since the pandemic and how IndyCar kind of was like on the rise, especially as like, you know, F1 was on the rise, right? But then, you know, Max Verstappen domination started. That's the perfect time for IndyCar to capture those American F1 fans, right? And they just have
not only
failed to kind of
not
capture
only that, Zach. F1 was rising. Racing in America was rising.
NASCAR's been rising.
NASCAR was in a really bad spot as well. NASCAR product was not really good at all in 2019, 2020. In 2021, they had Jimmy Johnson, 7-time NASCAR champion, come over.
Scott McLaughlin,
Roman Grosjean come over. There was so much momentum in 2021. And what did Penske Entertainment and IndyCar do? Nothing.
Literally nothing. There was nothing really.
Nothing.
I mean, what? Nashville? They added the Nashville Music City Grand Prix. Oh, cool. Okay.
And Nashville, that didn't even happen.
And that's not even happening this year. Like, they've done nothing to address IndyCar's number one core problem, being a series outside of the Indianapolis 500. No one cares about this series outside of that. That is that's their biggest problem. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like that's
100%.
That's the big thing with all these other little issues in it.
And another thing, this is kind of off more to the side, but also relates. NASCAR is probably going to race in Mexico before IndyCar does. And Pato O'Ward has been screaming for years now that they should race in IndyCar. He has the fan base to support it. And NASCAR is going to get there first. And that's what it sounds like, at least. And it's just like, are you kidding me?
Like, IndyCar is just so... Because IndyCar should be like NASCAR. They should be like, yeah, we're going to go international because we have all these international drivers. We are the biggest open wheel series in America. We're going to act like it. We have the biggest race in the world. But it's just, they don't carry that same vibe. If anything, it kind of shocks me they're able to put on the Indy 500. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's weird because...
Yeah,
it's just not normal for a series to have an event of that magnitude, and the rest of the series just can't even match that. Not even like it's not even in the same genre, you know.
Sorry for blowing up. No, I needed to get that out of my system.
Saying Penske should sell IndyCar, huh?
They should.
I mean,
I'm done. This was one event where they drew up, they planned it, and they hyped it up, and then they failed. That tells me they do not know what they're doing, and they need to go.
When did they buy IndyCar? Was that during COVID, right?
I think it was right before COVID.
Yeah, it was right before COVID.
It was late 2019.
It was right before COVID. It's 2024. And it's been 4 years.
And I don't want to get too much into that because you could talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
But Penske was at a disadvantage coming in right as the pandemic hit. But then things were on upswing in 2021, as I just talked about. And they just didn't do anything. They just kind of sat there and were just like unwilling to do anything. And it is so frustrating. I still believe IndyCar is the best motorsport racing series on the planet. But its leadership treats it
that's
like
funny.
It's just nothing.
That's funny because I don't think I agree with that anymore.
I don't think I do either.
I'm back on the NASCAR train. I think NASCAR's got it.
Like, I still in my heart believe it, but like in my head, I'm like, no, I think it's actually
because IndyCar's got ironically has the formula to be the best, right? Because it's still pure, right? It's got the balance of everything that you want: purity, well, purity and parity. That they got both, right? F1 and NASCAR only have one of each, really. I don't know. I mean, and now again, we don't have another race for a month, so we have to sit on this for a whole month till Long
exactly.
Beach.
Everyone's gonna be thinking about how bad thermal was, or they're gonna forget that IndyCar exists again. And then when they go to Long Beach, which by the way is on USA Network, it's not even on NBC. It's just like, who
I'm
cares? Like
sorry.
for a casual
I'm sorry.
fan, do they
Long
even
Beach
care?
is on USA?
Correct.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Ain't that great?
The second
So,
biggest race on the schedule, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I would just want to end this segment with a note to anyone who's very passionate about IndyCar. I know a lot of them follow us, and they listen for IndyCar content. If you're a defender of IndyCar and you don't agree with that Penske should resign or whatever, sell the series, like that's fine. You can have that opinion, obviously. Like you're entitled to that. But I care about the series so much. I'm so passionate. And I have never hid that. It is time. It's time. We need to move on. This experiment is not working. And if we keep waiting too long, Penske's never going to do anything. Penske Entertainment is never going to do anything. That's why being vocal and being critical of the things you care about is very important. That's why I'm done pretending everything's fine in IndyCar. Like, I'm really done. Just trying to ignore all the bad and negative things that are going on in the series. Like,
Yeah.
I was hoping that they would really prove me wrong and put on a decent show, but it clearly they had no idea what they were doing.
I think,
And that is why I think Penske needs to go.
I think this
Because this was,
idea,
again, their big thing.
this idea might have a place in IndyCar one day. I don't know if that's anytime
if it's done
soon.
properly. They know what they're doing.
David Land had a really cool idea where, like, if this was like a preseason Thunder type thing, because really the teams also treated this as a testing weekend with a race attached to it.
Make
so
it
that's
their
kind
clash.
That makes, like make it their clash, like, because the teams were testing all week, like this week too, this All-Star race, they were testing all week, right? They just had to race on Sunday or whatever. Let the fans come. They're testing all week. It's at this really cool venue. The race might be met, but it's a preseason bonus race. It doesn't really matter, right? And it's before the season actually starts, so it's not like you have any expectations of anything, like, right? Like, you're just excited for IndyCar to be back, right? I think that's something that they could play with, but again, I mean, there's still this big gap in the schedule, and again, that just goes.
I still don't think they should do it at a thermal.
Yeah,
I think that it's bad venue. It's kind of, in general.
Yeah, I think
if this was F1, then yeah, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I think it was cool, but whatever. Rest in peace, Texas. I can't believe they let Texas be like, no, we can't put you in the schedule. Girl, what do you mean you can't put me on the schedule?
By the way, I want to end the segment on a good note. Texas could very well just be a one-year thing.
Probably.
We don't really know.
It probably is just a one-year thing.
iRacing, that is back. They did get back with iRacing. So there is a video game, but it's like not a proper console video game that we want.
Yeah.
They are at Milwaukee. I don't necessarily think that's a bold decision by any means, because that's kind of just in the same region. They're already very.
I feel like they've been back to Milwaukee like 3 times already. Like,
yeah, but and they have upped their marketing budget, which I don't know how much that's actually making a difference. I'm skeptical. But like there are some little things, and also 100 Days to Indy is on Netflix and Paramount Plus now, not just a CW app.
That's good.
Obscure.
That's good.
If season 2, which should get confirmed, goes straight to those specifically Netflix, if it goes to those right away, that'd be really good. It's just a lot of these things are taking way too long, and it isn't going to ultimately matter right now.
Yeah.
But if you get season 2 on there right away, people might go back. Anyway, I don't want to talk about the race because I didn't really watch it. We took a lot of time anyway. Alex Palou won, by the way, so now we can pay Zack Brown for that lawsuit.
I won fantasy.
So, yeah, you won fantasy.
Yay!
I'm happy for you. No points, though.
No points. Of course. Jesus.
Yeah. So let's get into the T. Williams. We're talking about F1. Shout out to Volvo guy Tom on our TikTok comments, because he's like, I want you guys to talk about F1 more. Where's that?
I want you guys to talk about F1. What are we going to talk about, Max? That's
what I replied, and then Verstappen didn't even win. So Williams, they dropped Logan Sargent for the Australia race after Alex Albon crashed in practice, I believe.
Yeah, so
Williams
Albon,
did not have a backup
yes.
chassis, and Alex Albon drove Sargent's car.
It's just like, I think people found this really gross because Logan Sargent is getting punished for something his teammate did. And I get it, it's F1, and Williams, you only get points if you finish in the top 10. Alex Albon, that was their best shot for points, statistically. I get it. But, because otherwise, whatever happens that weekend doesn't really matter. Like, if you finish, wherever. Which, whatever. It's just so gross. And also, how do you not have a backup chassis? You're an F1 team. Oh, Andretti can't join F1?
That'd be like a requirement.
Andretti can't join F1 because they're not suited? Oh, but Williams
Andretti
can
would
just show up and not have a backup chassis? And they're allowed enough? Like, what are we doing? That's just kind of gross. Like,
Very, very silly. And I feel bad for Logan Sargent because he's actually, from what I've read, he has shown genuine improvement in his second year so far with the in F1. He is the only American driver on the grid. And it's probably unlikely that he gets re-signed for a third year with them after this, especially after this situation. But I don't know. It's very unfortunate. And I like Alex Albon a lot too. Nothing against him at all, but he didn't end up scoring points.
he finished
Like,
11th.
what was the point?
He finished 11th, I believe.
Just short.
Just short, which, like, oh, man. Because at least, if he would have gotten at least a point, then it's like, okay, all right, Williams, but whatever. It's something that's like, it's a very tough situation, but really, I just blame the team for not having a backup chassis. How do you go there with not having a backup chassis? Being in Australia probably has something to do with it, because it's not like they can just quickly get one. But
if you want us to watch F1, I don't have this in the doc, Zack. There is a report, not a report, but a rumor, because Marshall Pruitt wrote an article today saying that he heard while in the thermal paddock that Joseph Newgarden is someone that Andretti Global is very, very interested in, potentially for an one ride.
Oh, I missed that part.
Pruitt says he heard it from two different people, thermal. As a Joseph Newgarden fan, Joseph has said some very interesting things about F1 that I don't think he'd be interested in that. I think he'd be interested in a test ride of it. Because Joseph is an open, his contract with Penske ends at the end of this. Joseph Newgarden's. And the report is that he wants more money. So if you want us to watch F1, make that happen. Because I'll watch for Joseph Newgarden, even if he's running like 15th. I don't care.
That would make me so like,
I'd cry. I don't want him doing that. But
he would do it too. He's that competitive. He's
that's
fit
my
for
thing
it.
with him.
I think he's fit for it.
I think he could do it, but it's just it would eat him alive that he wouldn't be like competitive right up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But we'll see. We'll be following that. I think what's gonna happen with him is that he's gonna use this as like a hey, Penske, let me drive a NASCAR
True,
race.
maybe he's just using us
please.
as leverage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think because Joseph wants to run a NASCAR race, specifically Bristol. He's talked about a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
He'd
think he's gonna
probably
stay
be-
at Penske. If not, though, look out for McLaren because Lucas's contract's only 1 year, and I believe Rossi has like a option or something at this year. Maybe he has another year.
Tell you what,
But
Rossi was the only
That's right.
McLaren driver to even make it into the thermal main event. Just saying.
Interesting.
Another thing about F1 real quick. They had a pretty interesting race at Australia. Max had an engine issue or something. It was a brake issue. I think the brake ducts got clogged. And he DNF'd. So someone else won. It was a Ferrari 1-2. And the cool story is that Carlos Sainz won the race after he had appendix surgery. Because remember, he missed Saudi Arabia because he had to get that surgery because all of a sudden. But he comes back, first race back, and wins. That's cool. That's a cool story. And apparently, he wasn't 100%. He wasn't 100% that weekend. So, like, that's really cool.
I also want to mention that there was a tweet by Alanis King. We've had on the show before. Check that episode out. She made a tweet
It's about
that was
Charles.
saying that besides Max Verstappen, the most recent winner in F1 is Carlos Sainz twice.
Yeah, at Singapore last year. Yep, when like the Red Bull
And
was really off.
Sainz is out of a ride after this year because Lewis Hamilton's replacing him at Ferrari. So Alanis's tweet was basically saying, don't let a job value, like, don't put your job ahead of yourself because they won't value you anyway. And I was like, you know what? So true.
That's so
'Cause,
true. Because I feel like Carlos. When was the
yeah,
last time Charles actually won? Because I feel like Carlos Sainz has won at least 3 times since the last time Charles won.
could not.
Dude, that's kind of
But
T, right?
yeah,
That's kind of T.
found that interesting.
He wins a lot.
So yeah, something to follow there. So something else that we want to talk about.
This makes
This
me
is
mad.
funny.
No, it's
The
not. It's not
Dale
funny.
Jr.
You think it's funny because you weren't
So-
a Dale Jr. fan. So let's.
Well, I was involved in the story, Zach. I'm part of the T.
You are part of the T, actually.
So,
you are
Hendrick
our
Motorsports-
frontline reporter in the T this week.
I really am. So Hendrick Motorsports, they put out a teaser being that was like someone walking in Dale Jr.'s National Guard, fire suit from 2014. And I tweeted, and I texted you first. What if Dale Earnhardt Jr. is replacing Kyle Larson at North Wilkesboro while Kyle Larson qualifies for the Indy 500? Because those are on the same day or same weekend. And Kyle Larson, middle of the night, quote tweets my post with a thinking emoji. And it was just like, oh my gosh. So I woke up to that. It was like, no way. And I asked you, like, do you think he's trolling? Do you think like this is just like a teaser? But then it turns out that the reveal was Chase Elliott has a 2014 National Guard throwback for Darlington. That was so deflating. But
I mean, it's
Zach,
cool, but like, oh, like what? Everyone was excited for Dale Jr. in a cup car
was.
at Northwood,
Everyone was.
and people were like, why would Dale Jr. want to get in a cup car? But that's so lame. He wouldn't want to get in a cup
At North
car.
Wilkesboro, though.
It's
he
at
would.
North Wilkesboro. It's for a race that doesn't matter. Like, come on, have fun. People were being
And
really Debbie
by the
Downers
way,
about it. They were just being Debbie Downers.
NASCAR would let him change the 5 to the 88. 1,000%.
They did it with Harvick last year. Hell,
Yeah.
they would have let them run a 5th car. Don't think that they wouldn't have let Hendrick run a 5th car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the All-Star race. They would have let him do that. 110%.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So
stop it. I hated how people were being Debbie Downers about the whole thing. Like, I can't believe
Zach,
you
do you
guys thought
think-
that would happen.
Zach, do you think that this could actually still happen? Because I'm a little delusional. I feel like it's plausible. Maybe my tweet inspired Rick Hendrick, Kyle Larson, Dale Jr. to be like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Because
We
what?
never thought of that.
It's Sunday night, and Kyle Larson only has to be at Indy on Sunday if he's doing the Fast 12 or Bump Day. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know, any of those could happen. I mean, he could probably fly back in time. I mean, he's going to have to do that for the actual Indy 500 and 600. If anything, it'd be practice, right? So he doesn't need a sub per se, but it would be cool.
Really cool though.
I don't know. Again, that's why I'm just like, bro, just add a 5th car or let Dale Jr. do it.
Side note: why isn't the sponsor Nation's Guard? It'd be
Right.
so easy.
It's so
They
free.
could use the same font. It's right there, but it's Universe.
It's probably one of those
Like,
things where it's
what?
like UniFirst wanted Darlington or something. I don't know how that works, where it's like, does the team get to give races to the sponsors, or do sponsors request races? I think most of the time sponsors request races.
Yeah, but the scheme does look cool, by the way. Like, I think it looks cool. I love that scheme.
Cool.
I love the
I like how they lean the number
like
forward.
it is. Yeah, it's a great choice
One of my
for
favorite
throwbacks.
schemes. I have the 124 of the Daytona win.
Yeah. But yeah, we have one more thing. Speak of Chase Elliott, Zach.
Jesus Christ.
He's kind of a goofball because he said on the announcement for that paint scheme, he went on Dale Jr.'s podcast, and one of the topics was the Netflix show and how Chase Elliott was not in it. Uh, he didn't want to be in it, apparently. I thought he wasn't in it because he wasn't a factor in the championship, but apparently he didn't want to be in it. Zach, what do you think about that?
That's just embarrassing, dude. It's just embarrassing for everyone involved in the sport. Like, you're our most popular driver, and Taylor Kitchen made a really good, I still need to watch it, but she made a video about this, like, same topic. It's just like, why is our most popular driver just allergic to being marketed? Like,
Go watch that video. It's really
and it's
good.
not that, like, I
love
think
Taylor.
Chase has a right to his privacy, right? But there's a consequence to that. Like, if Chase Elliott wants his privacy, then why is he the most popular driver? Like, why do you guys like him? I used to be a Chase fan when Dale was kind of retiring. I was like, okay, I'll be a Chase fan for a little bit. I thought he was cool. Again, though,
Right.
and I popped off when Chase won the championship. I thought it was really cool that he won the championship. But God, it's just like, it just sucks for our sport that Chase Elliott wouldn't even want to be in the Netflix documentary, or he doesn't want Netflix to have access to, again, the biggest driver in the sport, a champion of the sport. It's just like, it is so frustrating. It's obvious that Chase, I mean, it felt weird listening to him on the Dale Jr. download, because it's just like, wow, I never hear Chase Elliott talk about anything. Right? It's just like I get it. It's just, I don't know. I just don't know how you can be a NASCAR star and then also want to be private, because I just don't, that's a conflict of interest.
Like, you can, but I think the problem is that he's the most popular driver.
Yes.
And Dale, I know Dale was kind of the same way. Like, he was very private for a long time and very quiet, but he really embraced it the later half of his career, and then obviously his post-career. And it's frustrating, and it's definitely not helping the growth of the series. And Ryan Blaney is more than willing and happy to do stuff to help grow the series as the reigning champion.
And he's funny.
And he's funny.
Like, I'm not even saying you have to be
Like-
funny, but again, it's just, why do we hold Chase Elliott on this pedestal, a pedestal that he doesn't want to be on? Like,
Right.
why is Ryan Blaney not the most popular driver? Like, come on.
Exactly.
And again, that kind of goes into other market. Like, since Chase Elliott doesn't want to be this guy, we need to market the other drivers. Stop marketing Chase, which is like so easy for me to say. I don't know. It just annoys me to no end, because you're the,
Right.
I feel like Chase almost has responsibility. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I'd say he does.
Yeah,
I'd
he has
say
responsibility. You're the guy. You're the new Dale Jr.
All right.
Whatever.
So let's talk about fantasy.
I stopped the bleeding.
Zach, you got a point.
I did.
Yes. You got third with Ty Gibbs. I got seventh with Ross Chastain. We're heading to Richmond on Easter Sunday. I'm actually excited for this. I'm moving this weekend. So to be determined what we're doing next week for
Yeah,
shows.
not
I
sure.
will not be here. We're working on trying to get a guest. I might just be that, or Zach might do a show with someone.
Yeah.
We're working it out. So to be determined on next week.
Yeah, I have no idea. Depends on what my vibe is. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
So Richmond.
I'm nervous.
Do you have a pick ready?
I have a pick ready. I'm nervous about this because I'm a little undecided with my order. If we tie, I don't know. Are you ready?
Okay.
Because I'm just nervous.
Yeah.
Because I need to really start
Yeah, I
cutting
got it
this thing
pulled up.
down. All right.
Well, you were talking about Chase Elliott. I looked up a picture.
All right. 3, 2, 1. I'm going with Denny. Okay, so we both went with Denny Hamlin.
No, I'm going with cartoon Denny Hamlin.
Okay, you're funny.
It's like Link and Toon Link. I'm going with Toon Denny.
God, this next one, I think I know. This next one I'm really undecided with, actually. Hold on, let me look at something real quick, because I'm really undecided.
Wait.
Oh my god.
Okay. I know who I want. I'm looking for a pick.
Yeah, I don't exactly know who I want. Okay. I think I'm going to go with this. All right. I basically have a picture. I'm nervous about this part. This could be I don't know. This feels very intense. I love fantasy, but I hate it because you win for no reason sometimes. All right, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. I'm picking Christopher Bell. Yep, I knew. Okay, yep, I figured that was gonna happen. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Whew. This is intense. This is intense.
Like, I ain't playing around no more.
You are not playing around. What do you mean you're not playing
Neither
around?
are you.
You still have a 4-point gap, and now you're acting like, oh, I really got to step my game up. I have another one.
Yeah, I do too.
You think you're so funny.
I'm hilarious.
All right, I'm ready if you are. Come on, Alex. You sweating over there?
I'm trying to get this picture to load up. Okay. Here we go. I'm ready.
Right. 3, 2, 1. Can I get... Okay. I'm okay. I have Martin Truex. Alex has Ty Gibbs. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Happy
I feel good
Easter.
about that.
He gets us. He gets us.
I feel good about this.
Yeah.
I think Martin Truex is good at Richmond, dude. I've seen him win twice there, and then he also won there in 2021. And he has like the second best real average finish of all the drivers there right now recently. So
I thought about Martin, but then it clicked that it was Easter, and I was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if Ty Gibbs gets his first career win on Easter in the He Gets Us car? I don't know if he's actually driving that car, but it'd be hilarious. I'm just saying.
Well, listen, I do think Ty Gibbs is going to be good there, right? I mean, as you saw, we were all picking the JGR Toyotas. We literally picked all of them. Like,
literally, if we picked the same on Truex and Gibbs, I was going to go to 23-11.
Well, I thought you were
going all the Toyotas.
I thought you were going to pick Truex next. I thought we were going to go through all of JGR, and then I'm not going to tell you who I had next. That's secret information, but.
Oh, it's classified.
That's why I was deciding between Bell and Truex for my second pick, and I'm glad I went with Bell because you had Bell, and because I think Bell's going to be really good there too. He's been really good this season. Yeah.
I think Bell's actually probably the favorite.
I low-key think Bell's the favorite, but yeah, I mean Truex is the points leader. Ty Gibbs is 5 points right behind him. They're having a great start to the year. They're fast every week. They're definitely probably going to finish in the top 10, top 5. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, I will say Truex.
All right.
Truex only has 1 top 5 this year. Ty Gibbs has 3 top 5s. So that kind of puts a little bit of the advantage into Ty Gibbs. But Truex at Richmond, though, you just have to go with that track history. He's so good there.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for Richmond. I think the strategy is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to have it on in the background while I set up my new place. The vibes are going to be immaculate.
I'm excited for the vibes of a Richmond night race. Yeah. Thank you for bringing it back. I've missed you, Richmond night race.
It's going to be fun. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening to me rant. Thank you for...
We just yapped so much.
Listening, watching.
We were yapping so much. I was yapping about COTA. You were yapping about IndyCar at Thermal. Like, yap.
Yap.
Is that what I think it is?
It is. We have an Apple review, Zack.
It's been so long. It's been so long. Oh my gosh.
All right. So this Apple review, if you want us to read an Apple review, leave a 5-star review and write a review. We'll read it right here on the Gay Racing Podcast. So this one is from Sam, the other ship, on Twitter. He put, I love this show. That was the headline title on Apple. Love this show. Been listening for a while. I'm always sure to tune in every week. Great chemistry between Zack and Alex, plus great representation in the motor racing space. I also love the recent crying towel segments. Zack captures Jimmy Spencer's character perfectly.
Who's Jimmy
Keep
Spencer?
Up the awesome work.
I don't know who's Jimmy Spencer. Who's that? I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
I've literally been watching it's crazy because that crying towel thing was spur of the moment when I first did it, and then I'm like, let me start watching some Jimmy Spencer Race Hub. I was studying. Let me start watching some Jimmy Spencer Race Hub segments.
I asked you last night, can you send me wherever you're watching all these
compilation?
It's a 3-hour compilation video, and I watched an hour of it last night.
It's been my background noise for a while, or not even my background. It's my bedtime. It's my bedtime video.
It's your bedtime.
It is, because it makes me happy, because I'm like, oh, he's talking trash about Stephen Wallace in the Nationwide series. This is great. This is great. But yeah, thank you, Sam. I see Sam's on Twitter a lot, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, really, really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And again, if you want us to read your review, leave it on Apple. That's the only way we can really get a written review. So 5-star written review over on Apple. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify as well. That also helps us there. Like and subscribe over on YouTube if you're watching there. Support us on Patreon. You can do that at patreon.com/GaryPod. There is a bonus video available to Patreon subscribers that is not on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
We looked at a bunch of paint schemes with Davin at Drive-Thru. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to do with YouTube, we're going to split it into parts.
Yeah.
I think is what
that's
we're
the plan.
doing.
At some point. So if you want it, but if you want it in just nice long podcast format, then just, it's
They're
on
on Patreon for you.
And we got something else coming up for Patreon soon. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
But yeah, thank you to those who subscribe over there. That really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then follow us on social media at Gay Racing Pod, at Newgaden for myself, and at Dreamy Zack Racing for Zach. And with that, I believe we're all done.
Yeah. Well, again, next week
on a good note.
We'll see us. You'll see us sometime. I don't know when.
Yeah.
I'll try to.
It's all up to Zach.
I will try to get something.
Nothing, it's Zach's fault.
Was also let me put this out there. I was thinking about doing maybe a live show after Richmond. Right? And I'm not going to Richmond. I think I was talking about I'm not actually going to Richmond because I decided I kind of want to spend Easter with, get this, my family. What?
Crazy.
You mean concept. I don't want to go to a NASCAR race on Easter? What? But yeah, so I'm gonna be home. So I might do a live show after Richmond, maybe with a guest, maybe by myself. I don't know. Just I'm just gonna gauge some interest for that. Maybe I'll tweet something. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we will see you guys next time. Take care, stay safe, be kind to each other, and we will see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I did the thing again. I keep doing this. What is this? Stop doing this. Wave. I gotta wave. Bye.